So today we are going to start a new topic, biological magnification of the same chapter, our environment. So here we see what is the effect of chemicals if they lie in any of the food chain. So if we define biological magnification, that is the increase in concentration of harmful chemical substances, especially like pesticides in the body of living organisms at each trophic level of food chain. I gave you example of DDT also, where we talk about if long back DDT it is used as a pesticide to protect the crops from different types of pest. So when it is sprayed over the crops, and then those crops are harvested and they are washed in the pond water, so all the chemicals from the crop it get mixed with the water of the pond, and the phytoplanktons which are taking those chemicals while taking food, they are accumulating that small quantity of those pesticide in their body. Then those phytoplanktons are eaten by zooplankton. Zooplanktons are eaten by small fish, and small fish are eaten by large fish. And finally, a human is also a part of trophic level food chain. So when fish are eaten by human, then the concentration it will come to the human body also. So pesticide, as it is chemical in nature, so it is having number of harmful effect. It block the certain biochemical pathway of our body. So the accumulation of pesticide in any of the organism body, it is harmful. Pesticide enter the food chain at the producer level. As I told you, if we wash the crop inside the water, then whatever phytoplanktons are there, they are having some accumulation of those pesticide, and as they are poisonous, so they have a property also to get really mixed with the soil and water, and they are non-biodegradable. We cannot degrade because it is chemical in nature. We cannot degrade them into simpler form. So the maximum accumulation, if we are talking about a food chain where there is a human also a part of that food chain, then the maximum accumulation it will be in human body, as it is in the top of food chain, or any organism which is on the top of food chain, it is showing the maximum accumulation of any chemical such as DDT. So
Ma'am,
this is, yes,
ma'am, but it decreases as the like from
it
uh
increases. See what happened when we represent biological magnification. Magnifying means to become enlarged in size. All right. So becoming enlarged in size, or there is a large concentration of size, because here it is not related with the 10% energy one. It is related with
yeah.
the chemical concentration. Chemical concentration, it is measured in the terms of ppm, that is part per million. All right, if you have a million concentration in that, how much part of that million concentration it is occupied by the particular chemical. So when that organism and it does not dissipate in the form of energy to the outer environment, whatever food we are eating, if 100% is there in our body, 90% it is dissipated in a different process, as I told you, in digestion or in some other process, but 10% only transfer. But in case of chemicals, or as it is moving to the other organism body, and when it is moving, it keeps on increasing due to the accumulation, because if we are talking about phytoplankton, they are completely inside the water, so they are accumulating that concentration from their surrounding. Is it clear?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So basically biological magnification, when any chemical it get accumulated in a body of living organism, and its concentration keep on increasing while moving through each trophic level of a food chain, that is called as a biological magnification. Just take an example, plants. If we are talking about crops, crops are sprayed with pesticides, and those crops are eaten, or plants are eaten by goats. Then human they eat goat meat, and in this way that chemical it will enter into the human body. Another way, if plants, that I already discussed, phytoplankton, zooplankton, small fish, large fish, and human. So if a question will come from biological magnification, you can explain with these two examples, either plant, goat, and human, or with phytoplankton, that is the aquatic food chain. But whenever question will come, please try to attempt with the help of example. Always there is a marking, split of marking for examples also. So sometimes students, they forget to write the examples, so they lose their marks. So better to give an example for biological magnification always. Now, I have done one sample problem here. Which of the following have the maximum concentration of harmful chemical in its body? And organism are given here as a peacock, frog, grass, snake, and grasshopper. So the first thing which you have to do, once the organism they are given in a random order, you have to arrange them in food chain, because they are not arranged in food chain. So you have to arrange in a proper trophic level of food chain. So grass is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by frog, then a snake, and the top of the food chain, it is occupied by peacock, which feed upon snake. So when we talk about biological magnification, if grass is having concentration of any chemical, it will goes into the body of grasshopper, then to frog, snake, and finally it get accumulated inside the body of peacock. So maximum concentration, if it is there, then maximum concentration will be present in the member which is on the top of food chain. That is here, it is peacock. Here I have shown one more example how we measure. You can see here, when water, when crop get washed in water, then there is a concentration of chemical like DDT, that is 0.02 part per million, that get dissolved in water. Then it will increase to 4 or 5 folds, and it will become 5.0 part per million. Then again it will increase to huge number, that is 240 part per million. So there is a no limitation that it is going to increase to 10-fold or 20-fold. It is a constant accumulation from the surrounding as well as from the food which the trophic level organism are going to eat. So finally, the top, you can see here, bird is having a maximum accumulation of DDT, that is 1600 parts per million. So this all accumulation of chemicals, it result in the biological magnification. Anyone having any question at this?
Ma'am,
Yes,
I have a
Pavani?
question. Ma'am, here, how does it affect the bird, because it's on top of the food chain and then it has so much of chemical concentration from the fish? Like, how does it affect it?
Acha. Vaibhavi, just take an example of a local ecosystem. All right. When we are talking about a local ecosystem, that means a village where there is a tree near the pond.
Hmm.
All right. And the crop field is also located nearby. Okay. So bird, as they are both like they are some birds, they are like eating grains also, as well as they are eating animals also. All right, they are omnivores. So in case of them, if the soil it is having a crop, it is having a concentration of those chemical mixed in the soil. So when they are eating the grain from outside that environment in the soil, they are accumulating from the outside environment. All right. And again, from the fish, when they are eating fish, this 240 ppm, it is completely going inside their body.
Right.
All right. Once it go to your body, due to your biochemical pathway and due to your body phenomenon, it get increased to that much concentration, because it get number of more chemicals inside your body which are gathering together.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah.
So it result in the increase in concentration to 20 times or 20 folds. Okay.
Ma'am, so does it affect the health of the bird somehow?
Yeah, it will. Bird will die. There is
Right.
a
That's a question.
thickening of eggshell. That is
Right.
the mostly reported in case of biological magnification, when there is a thickening of eggshell which is found near a crop field area. So that is a harmful effect of this one. So
Okay.
the egg layer it become thickened, and there is a chances of those chicks to die. They will
Okay.
not survive, or if they will survive, they have some type of disability, or they are not able to sustain
Interesting.
longer.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else? Any doubt from biological magnification?
No, ma'am.
Shall I move further?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So after the biological magnification, let's come to the another effect of on our environment, that is ozone layer. So basically, what is ozone? It is a triatomic molecule, or a molecule which is having 3 oxygen. Generally, the oxygen which we respire, that consists of 2 atoms of oxygen, and due to ultraviolet rays that are part of the solar radiation, those oxygen molecules, they are broken into 2 oxygen atom. Here you can see oxygen, due to sunlight, solar radiation, UV radiation is specifically, they are broken into 2 molecules, 2 oxygen atoms. Those 2 oxygen atoms, when one of those 2 oxygen atom, when it combined with again oxygen molecule, it result in the formation of a triatomic molecule that is called as ozone. So this is called as a ozone formation. This year also board examination having this question, where they ask about how ozone layer it form. So you have to mention both the things uh, in sentences. Also you have to mention how it forms. It consists of oxygen, it consists of 2 atoms of oxygen, and due to effect of UV radiation, it breaks into single molecule, and those single molecule again combined with oxygen present in atmosphere and result in the formation of ozone. So ozone is a layer present in our upper atmosphere which protect us from harmful radiation. So it is important for the existence of life on earth. When we are talking about existence of life on earth, ozone is one of the important factor which makes it possible to organism to survive on the earth's surface, because ozone is providing a protective shield around our earth, so that living organism can be protected from harmful radiation. So how it help in the existence of life on earth, as it absorb most of the harmful ultraviolet radiations which are coming from the sun, and prevent them from reaching the earth. So as it is present in the upper atmosphere, so it absorbs maximum of the ultraviolet radiations and prevent them from reaching the earth. If ultraviolet rays, as ozone depletion is now a concern topic, so because there is a hole in ozone layer, so maximum of the ultraviolet rays, they are getting their ways to reach to the earth. So ultraviolet rays, what is the harmful effect of them? They causes skin cancer. So if they reach to the earth, if we are not protecting ozone layer, it is going to affect us. How depletion of ozone occur? Due to the use of CFCs. What are CFCs? These are the chlorofluorocarbon released into air with and react with ozone gas and destroy it gradually. So there is a reaction between chlorofluorocarbon and ozone gas, which again is split them into free radical. So again they are depleting the ozone layer, and that's why the consumption of CFC, it has been reduced now, and that has been decided in 1987 in UNEP program to reduce the concentration or production, or freeze the production of CFC in the all countries. And it is widely used in refrigerators, ACs, fire extinguishers, aerosol sprayers. So you and your family is going to buy any refrigerator ACs, please look for the CFC concentration. If it is less, then only buy that product.
Ma'am, what's an aerosol sprayer?
Aerosol sprays, what all you are using, shaving creams or perfumes, deodorants, they all are having the one which is having that foam and leather. They are called as aerosol sprayers. Even for birthday parties, you are using those sprayers, that foamy sprayers, they are called as aerosol sprayers. They are also a major thing which result in the depletion of ozone layer. So anyone having any doubt in last 2 topic, biological magnification and ozone depletion?
No,
Or
ma'am.
it is clear to everyone?
Clear, ma'am.
So we'll reach to the last topic of the chapter, that is managing the garbage we produce. So basically, what is garbage? Whatever household we are producing from our home, that is called as a garbage, like leftover food, fruit, vegetable peels, fallen leaves of potted plants, waste paper, unwanted plastic objects, glass articles, metal objects, old wooden objects, and sewage. This all comes under the garbage which we produce from house. Now, disposable of waste should be in scientific way that will help in managing the garbage in a effective manner. So there are certain modes of waste disposal which we have to study. These are modes of waste disposal. First one is recycling. Second one is preparation of compost. Then incineration, landfill, and sewage treatment. So we already learned in the starting of the chapter, we divide waste into two types of biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. So the first thing we have to keep in mind for waste disposal, that is recycling. Like if we have paper waste, so we can give it to paper factory so that they can again convert it into paper mill, they can again convert it into the usable paper. As well as for plastic also, to plastic factories, if you are giving it to the person, those who are collecting garbage, completely properly separated them into biodegradable and non biodegradable, so it is easy for them to segregate that one and send it to the respective factories for the recycling. Then we have another waste material in the form of metal articles, that is also used by industries, as metals can be melted and recycled again to form a new things. So this is called as a recycling, where solid waste like paper, plastic, and metals, they are recycled again. Waste paper to the paper mill, broken plastic object to the plastic factories, and waste metal articles to industries for melting and recycling again. Now, the second step is preparation of compost. So we talk about all those which we can send back to the factories and industry. What about the biodegradable waste which we are getting from our home, and we can decompose them in their natural environment? So biodegradable waste such as leftover food, fruit and vegetable peels, fallen leaves of plant, etc. We can collect them, we can dig a pit, and we can put all those waste inside that pit and keep it as it is for longer time, for months, and then when you open that pit, you can get a completely formed manure which you can use to give it to farmers so that they can use to create a manure, or you can use that manure in your garden also, or in your kitchen garden to grow plants. Now, come to the another topic which is very important part of waste disposal, that is called as incineration. Incineration, when you burn anything and reduce them to ashes, that is called as incineration. Always the burning of substances, it occur at high temperature. So basically, specifically, it is in the case of chemical waste, biological waste, household waste, which cannot be decomposed by natural process. So there is another process of burning those substances at very high temperature. So it reduces the volume of waste material as it is converting those waste material into ashes. So this is done in a special type of machine or chamber which are called as incinerators, where they are burned at high temperature. Anyone having any question related to incineration?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, after reducing it to ashes, why do they keep it?
It get incorporated into the soil.
Oh.
Okay. Now come to the next one, that is landfill. So landfill is the disposal of waste by putting in low-lying areas of ground, and solid waste of urban areas are dumped into landfill. You can also see in your societies when all this garbage person, they are coming to collect the garbage, they are taking all those garbage together from different areas, and there is a large open space where they are going to dump all the solid waste, and that is called as a landfill. So the purpose of leaving that waste in that open areas, some people, they are coming and they are collecting plastic waste, metal waste, as I told you, to send it back to the respective factories and industries. Other, those which are biodegradable, if by chance it is there in that content, then it can decompose by its natural process in that open area. So it does not, that landfill, it is meant to just concentrate the pollution in that area, not to create the pollution. If we will keep it everywhere in the local societies, then maybe there is a chance that those area water or soil, it get polluted with that waste. So it is always dumped into a landfill where there is a no society, where there is a no local population, and it can be there for decomposition process which occur naturally. Now come to the another one, the another type of waste which is released from our house, that is the sewage. So sewage treatment, like dirty drain water, basically it contains urine and feces which are released from our house, which are the human waste or animal waste also. So these are all the houses, they have a long connection of pipes or sewers. So those sewers or pipes, they are taking all those sewage into a common area, that is called as a sewage treatment plant. So here you can see this is the large sewage plant, and there is a two tank. Then we have a different chambers. Some chambers are having a nitrogen, that free living fixing bacteria which act upon those things which are biodegradable, and they decompose them into the smaller particle. Then there is a filter part which is filtering the large particle, like oil particles and other. If they are keep on flowing through the channels, they are going to clog the channel. So because of that, they need to be filtered out before. Then you can see here there is a sludge digestion. Then dry sludge. Sludge is whatever it is left as a waste material here, that is called as a sludge. The thick waste material, it is called as a sludge. Then sludge is also used as a biogas plant, because it is used to produce a biogas which is called as methane. In rural area, if you go to villages and all, you can find methane using as a biogas, because there is a cattle dung. People, they are collecting those cattle dung, leave it for the decomposition, and it result in the release of methane, which is used as a biogas, and it is used for the cooking purpose in houses. So these are the ways of waste disposal: recycling, preparation of compost, incineration, landfill, sewage treatment. Generally, whenever question will come, it will ask you for two methods of disposal or three methods of disposal. So try to use all these pointers here: recycling, any three of them you can use to answer the question. Or sometime incineration, it will come in 1 mark question to define as it is, that is the reducing waste into ashes. So that, or in this way also you can answer. Anyone, any doubt in this part?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, how as an active citizen you can contribute to your environment, how you can improve the pollution level, how you can reduce the pollution level in your environment. So being an active citizen, you can use a cloth bag while going for shopping instead of plastic bags, and promote more plantation. It can be a kitchen garden, it can be a large area garden where it is there. If you get a chance to celebrate your birthday, please plant one tree. Then rainwater harvesting and prevention of wasting resources. Then rainwater harvesting, you can collect rainwater and use it for gardening purpose or for any other household purpose which does not require that much pure water. Then prevention of wasting resources, it is about using electricity judicially, and then there is a usage of water, proper water usage. So you have to conserve your all natural resources which has been provided by your environment. Then preparation of compost from kitchen waste, as I told you, what all biodegradable waste they are coming from your kitchen, you can keep them, and for longer time for the decomposition, dig up it and put it there and leave it there. It will act as a manure and you can use it for your kitchen garden. Then you can maximize use of biodegradable substances, like you can see in train now people are encouraging the use of kullers, which are made up of soil particles. So kullers are made up of clay, and in place of disposable cups or plastic cups, kullers are used in train. Then recycling of paper waste. Paper waste, as I told you, you can reuse the paper by making a paper bag, or you can reuse the paper for a different purpose. So that is also one way you can contribute to the environment. As for making a paper, number of trees have been cut, so you can reduce the cutting of trees by using both, by doing the recycling of paper. Then separation of biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste before disposal. That is the most important thing which you can help your mother or your father at home also to contribute to the society. Before giving it to the garbage person, your housekeeping staff, better you will segregate the material biodegradable and non-biodegradable separately. Nowadays we have a concept of wet and dry waste. So before giving to them, better from our side, we will keep it as a dry waste and wet waste, and then will release it outside. As in that manner, it is easy for them also to put it in the landfill or to put it in the open area or pit for the composting. So this is all about today's topic. So we have finished another chapter, that is our environment. So we discussed today about biological magnification. Anyone having any question from entire
ma'am.
chapter?
No,
From
ma'am.
entire chapter, please do one thing. Today, just read the whole chapter from the NCERT. Underline those sentences, those lines which are difficult for you to understand. Please ask those questions when I will take the next class. We'll start in next class, control and coordination chapter. So before that, I will take one doubt clearing session. So better you will, if you have any doubt from this chapter, please keep it with you and ask me. Or either today is also we have time, so we can ask those questions before discussing the question. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Or shall I move to question answer discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
No one? No one is having any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Excuse me. Now, so page number 2, for me it's 264. What about for you? That ozone question. What is ozone? Above the exercise.
Same page number. ma'am.
Same page, 264. Okay. So what is ozone and how does it affect any ecosystem? So ozone, as I told you, it is a layer which is present in upper atmosphere. So how does it affect any ecosystem? You have to write both the effect. Like it protects our ecosystem from harmful radiation, and if it get depleted, then it allow radiation to reach the earth, which causes a skin cancer. Clear? Now the second question, how can you help in reducing the problem of waste disposal? Give any two methods. Any two methods from these you can give. You can explain any two method of disposal. Now come to the exercise question. First, second, third need not to do in notebook, as it is multiple choice question. So you can take answer in textbook itself. Question number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 you have to do in your notebook. Am I clear to everyone? Question exercise, question number 1, 2, 3 on the same page 264. You are not supposed to do in notebook. Take the answer in textbook itself. Question number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 you have to do in notebook. Question number 4, what will happen if we kill all the organism in one trophic level? Then no other organism will survive because they all are part of a food chain. Will the impact of removing all the organism in trophic level be different for different trophic level? Yes, it is impact of removing all the organism in trophic level, because plants are more in number. So more number of more in number. So number of herbivores is more. What is biological magnification? Just now I discussed what is biological magnification. Will the level of this magnification be different at different levels in the ecosystem? Yes, it is, because if we are talking about producers, it is less in number, and when we are moving forward in any food chain, it is keep on increasing. Then what are the problem caused by the non-biodegradable waste that we generate? You know very well, plastic, it cannot be decomposed into simpler substances. So if you leave it as it is, it will not decompose, and it will create soil pollution, water pollution, as well as it blocks the sewage also. If all the waste we generate is biodegradable, will this have no impact on the environment? It is having impact on environment, because again, this is also a part of ecosystem. Both the waste are part of ecosystem, and they need to be produced in a certain concentration, limited concentration. Why is the damage to the ozone layer a cause for concern? What steps are being taken to limit this damage? So you know very well, ozone layer is a cause of concern, because it will cause skin cancer, and steps are being taken to limit this damage, to freeze the concentration of CFC utilization in refrigerators, ACs, and aerosol sprays. So anyone having any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Any doubt from worksheet which has been uploaded?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so do all this question.
Okay, ma'am.
Exercise question number 1, that is MCQ. It is easy, you can do by yourself. If you have any difficulty, you may ask answer for that.
Okay, ma'am.
Anyone having any doubt? Prabhavi, any doubt? Siddharth, any doubt? Jaipreet, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Darshil, any doubt? Prerna,
No, ma'am.
Pranav,
No, ma'am.
no doubt? Okay. Sudesh, any doubt?
No, ma'am, all clear.
All clear? Okay, please go through the chapters, all of you. Read line by line each sentence of the chapter. Go through that. If you find any difficulty, you can ask your doubt. Okay? And in next class, we'll start with control and coordination. As well as please finish off that pull out worksheets also for the same chapter, our environment and excretory system. Clear? All right. So I'm ending today's session. Please join for the next
Thank you, ma'am.
class. Have a
Thank you, ma'am.
day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.